What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of the Cover 3 podcast. I am joined by Dre from Dre Area Sports and Sterling Bennett of 49ers Access, here to do something that I think at least me and Sterling didn't think we'd be doing this week, and that's previewing another 49ers game. I personally got a ton of grief for my take this week. You guys, not so much. You weren't called Judas. So that's a good thing. So maybe based on how I'm feeling this week, maybe they'll be nicer to me and it'll be more in line with how you guys were dealing with it last week. So before we get into anything too ridiculous, how are you guys doing? I'll start with Sterling.
I'm doing good. Wish the house wasn't a mess. You can see I have moved from the gulag last week into my living room this week as we attempt to salvage what has been quite the mess of a leak on Christmas Eve. But we are eager to watch the 49ers hopefully kick the ever-living crap out of the Seattle Seahawks tomorrow in this very living room with everything in disarray. So it should be fun, Aaron.
Dre?
I'm super excited because, look, going into last week, everyone kept telling me, and including you guys, everyone kept saying, dude, it's most likely it's going to be over. I was like, no, this is a different fucking game. The Eagles are not the Seahawks. Now, we're past that now, and we are going to talk about that, but, man, with everything that has transpired over this past week, it just feels like the Seahawks are playing with so much more tension and so much more angst, and the Niners are going to go into this calm, cool, relaxed, like, look, let's just get this done. We beat and knocked off the defending Super Bowl champions in their home last week with less talent than we went in. I think the Niners are set for a huge upset this Saturday, but only time will tell.
Man. Didn't think I'd be sitting here talking to you guys about football this week. So during the game, I know I was doing this. Who did I say this to? Mike from SF Gold Rush. I said I was just kind of leaning into the, I'm good with whatever happens, which is a total juxtaposition of how I've been, where I'm like, oh, if they don't have a great season, it's not a Super Bowl, it's a failure. I've kind of leaned back off of that. I still think that Super Bowl should be the ultimate goal, but considering everything, and I've had time to kind of think about it and digest it, considering everything that's been going on this week, I think it's just extra. It's a pro bono that we're getting a chance to watch 49er football this week against a team that whooped our ass in week 18, even though it was only about 10 points. It felt like a lot worse. And hey, Darnold said he told Purdy that he'd see us in the playoffs, and here we are. I think all the pressure's on the freaking Seahawks in this game. Because the Niners The Niners aren't expected to be here. I know that sounds kind of lame for some people because they want to be like, well, that's the wrong attitude to have. But like, guys, we lost Kittle last week on top of everything that's already happened this year. And it's just like, it when you think it can't get any worse, my grandmother used to say, guess what, it will. Pretty negative kind of thing to say to people, but it's the truth. Considering all that, go ahead.
If the Niners beat the Seahawks this Saturday, they're going to win it all. I mean,
let's not get too far ahead of ourselves.
No, I don't care. To beat a team like Seattle Seahawks, who have the number one most dominant defense in the league, if you can beat this team or even beat them convincingly, I think that this team, there's no one who can stop them. I'm telling you right now, this is such a heavyweight matchup for San Francisco. And if they knock them off, I don't see anyone else who will be able to knock them off. I mean, you go against the Rams, their defense is not as good as the Seattle Seahawks. They have a better offense, yes, but we've seen what happens when we go against teams that have a good offense but not a very good defense. It turns into a shootout. So look, we don't have George Kittle. That sucks. That really sucks. We still got Jake Tonjes. I just feel like if we get past this game, we're going to win it all. That's just my point of view. That's how I'm seeing it. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think you guys are right in the sense that the pressure is on Seattle. You are playing or in Seattle's POV, You are the number 1 seed. You had the bye week. You're pretty much fully healthy. You're at your own place in front of your home crowd against what is looked to be your biggest division rival of the last decade or so, coming off of one of their biggest wins of the season, beating the defending Super Bowl champions. Like, all the pressure's on Seattle. What does San Francisco have in regards to pressure? Nothing. House money. They're not supposed to be here. They're banged to shreds, and they're getting some guys back who they didn't have 2 weeks ago when they faced off in Week 18. So, my mind, and I think most people's minds, go to the quarterback situation, Purdy versus Darnold. But I think it's important to point out that this is the biggest game of Sam Darnold's career. He's
absolutely
played. He's played in one playoff game. He got sacked 9 times. He threw 1 touchdown. He wasn't great. Now, you're not playing that Detroit Lions defense, mind you. It's a much better team that he played last year with Minnesota. However, he's never faced this amount of pressure. Now he has the oblique injury. What does the arm look like? There, I think, is a valid reasoning behind thinking that maybe Sam Darnold is somewhat mentally fragile. We know he's turnover prone, and it's almost like they're preparing for a loss, right? The fan base, they're terrified of San Francisco because they know that they didn't have Trent Williams 2 weeks ago. They didn't have Pearsall 2 weeks ago. And the one thing that I think San Francisco has in their bag is they're that boogeyman. Kyle Shanahan's cooking. Brock Purdy, makes some mistakes, but he's cooking defenses. And you can ride high. You beat San Francisco 2 games ago, but the one thing we've seen, when San Francisco loses a game, they start getting hot again. And if you let the offense get hot and get healthy, which they're getting healthy again with those 2 guys back, they have shown to be able to slice through any defense, whether it's good or bad. People want to kind of downplay that Colts game. That Colts defense was good walking into that game.
Yeah,
they held
like
Seattle
number
to 13
12.
points.
I think they're number 12 or 13 in the league.
Right, and they had some guys out for sure, but they also had DeForest Buckner back on that defense, and they cooked that defense for 4 quarters. And I think about the pressure down on Purdy. Purdy's been here before. He's done this before. He walked off the field in the Super Bowl with the lead. He's saying, this is another game for me. I've done this twice already in 2 of the last 3 seasons. So it's like, hey, Seattle, I think they're a darn good team. They deserve so much respect. That defense is scary. There is certainly a path to which they dog walk San Francisco, and that's a possibility. But with the pressure on their backs, the one thing San Francisco has to do, and it's the exact same thing that happened last weekend against Philadelphia. Hit them early, get them back on their heels, stun that crowd, and take them out of the game. I think San Francisco can do that again this weekend. Then I kind of believe that if you do that, like Hurts, Darnold may crumble.
And last week was so, it changed my whole outlook on things, that game, the way it transpired. I caught a lot of flack for being negative, and I was pretty non-confident against the Eagles. I didn't see a path to victory. And then it happened. And then in your mind, I know at least I do this because I like to downplay everything and not jump in too fast because I'm always afraid I'm going to be disappointed. But like the win last week really kind of showed me that there is an avenue to get this thing done. And it's just surviving and keeping yourself in it through the game. The Niners don't really get any turnovers. They don't sack the quarterback. They don't really play defense particularly well. And I know a lot of people say, well, we played well last week. I mean, the Eagles have some challenges on offense. Nonetheless, they played good enough to get themselves a victory. And it just changes my whole outlook on everything. Sterling, you're right. There's 2 possibilities. It's a competitive game. We have a chance to win in the end, or we get boat raced because Seattle's defense is that good. There's no like special analytics or something that you can bring up and say, well, actually against it, they're really good. Full stop. They're as good as advertised. It's still going to be a challenge for the 49ers offense. even if Trent, with Trent there and possibly Pearsall playing in the game, it's still gonna be a super big challenge.
He's playing.
He's gonna play.
I know you can't wait to watch Pearsall play tomorrow, Aaron. I know you can't. You've been waiting for this all year. The return of the princess.
Princess better freaking put his working boots on because we're gonna need him tomorrow. We need that guy.
I mean, with Ricky Pearsall out there in week 1, he had 4 catches for 108 yards. His longest was a 45-yard reception towards the end of the game. He stretches the field. He does a lot of things that they couldn't do in week 18. When you have Kendrick Bourne and Juwan Jennings as your 2 wideouts, they don't get separation. They're not man-beating receivers. They're situational receivers that can't be counted on every down to be your go-to. So getting a guy like Pearsall back is going to be huge for San Francisco. There's also a chance, too, that they could activate Jacob Cowing, who hasn't seen the field really at all. But what if they use him? What if he comes out there just to help stretch the field and run go routes just to help spread out that defense? And so we don't know what Kyle Shanahan's planning. Chances are they're not going to use him because Shanahan's like, I don't trust him enough. I don't want to do it. Give me Malik Turner instead.
This dude played Malik Turner in a playoff game and even got a target last weekend. He better play Jacob Cowing.
Exactly. And he dropped that pass. And I'll tell you what, the pass that Malik Turner dropped, Brock Purdy put it right on him, too.
Perfect.
So, sort of what Sterling was saying earlier, I feel like when it comes to Seattle, I agree. The pressure is all on Seattle, and the pressure is wholeheartedly on Sam Darnold. If he loses this game, let's say he loses bad, they lose this game at a final score of I don't know, I'm just playing make-believe here. Let's say they lose 28-10, right? And he has 2 picks. They're not going to retain him. They're going to be like, get this guy out of here. Or if they do,
bring him back.
But if they do, there's always going to be that looming, he might not be the answer here.
Yeah, can't trust him.
And so if you're Sam Darnold, you're like, I have to win this game. Even if I lose the week after, I have to win this game because it's against San Francisco. If I go out there and shit the bed, I'm going to lose confidence in so many aspects of this team. The fans, the coaching, the players. There's a lot of pressure riding on Sam Darnold, a guy who is not the most athletic. He can't run he can't escape the pocket all that well. He's got a strong arm, but he's prone to making mistakes. In the past 2 games that they played against San Francisco, he has not thrown for a touchdown in either game. That's huge right there. Now, is that going to hold true on Saturday? Probably not, but still, that's got to be playing into his head. And now with the oblique injury, it's like, are you serious? What was he doing to get an oblique strain? He was like, throwing the ball as hard as he could. I don't know.
Jimmy Garoppolo has a bad back in L.A., and nobody knows how the hell that happened.
You know what?
We know how he got a bad back. We just don't want to say it on the air.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We also know how Sam Darnold hurt his oblique. We just don't want to say it on the air either.
But look, Tonjes is going to play a huge role in this game because he has to. He has to come through. In week 1, he had 3 catches for 15 yards, and he had the insane touchdown, which he pretty much intercepted the ball from Reek Woolen, I think it was, and essentially won the game. So I think that when it comes to this game, all these guys at this point now are seasoned. They've all had experience. They've all had the reps. This isn't too big for them. And at the same time, for Brock Purdy, if there's any quarterback that's going to take the field right now that isn't going to be fazed by the crowd, that isn't going to be fazed by not playing at home, that isn't going to be fazed by throwing 1 or 2 interceptions, it's Brock Purdy. He's able to compartmentalize everything and stay focused on what needs to get done. He doesn't let his emotions take over. He's not like a Cam Newton who gets down on himself and gets mad, like, oh, come on, man, and kind of gives up like he did against San Francisco in the playoffs. No, this guy stays focused, and he's a leader. And that's why Niners are going to win this game.
How much? Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's all you.
So if this is a legacy game for him, right? How much, and it seems like it only lasts from week to week because of certain corners of the fan base, people who, make a living off of constantly critiquing, moving the goalpost. How much was of a legacy game did that game turn into for Brock? Because on one hand, I was thinking, okay, if they lose, he throws 2 picks. is he going to get kind of that Dak Prescott kind of heat where it's like, oh, he can't perform, blah, 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 which in his 5 playoff victories for them where he led a game-winning drive to win the game, 4 out of the 5 victories. So,
yeah,
like how much do you think, at least for this week, because last week, because we're going into this game on tomorrow, how much was that a legacy game for you guys for Brock, as far as like kind of starting out slow, a little erratic, and then able to kind of rein it in at the end and lead the 49ers down for a touchdown at the end?
I don't think last weekend's game against Philadelphia was a legacy game at all. I think Brock Purdy's proven everything he needs to. Now, I think it helped his legacy, but losing that game wouldn't have hurt it. Now, yes, throwing 2 interceptions in the way he did, I think is not going to give them the best shot to win this weekend or tomorrow against Seattle. You can't make the same mistakes. You can't throw 2 pivotal picks near midfield and expect to beat a team like the Seattle Seahawks, like you could Philadelphia, who has a kind of a sitting duck of a quarterback and a bad offensive play caller who got fired the very next day for all the right reasons, right? Seattle's offense is much more put together. They're more competent. And unlike Philadelphia, they won't stop running the football. Philadelphia stopped running the football. And that I think while they found some success, San Francisco's defense on the ground has to sell out to stop the run, or at least bring the exact same tackling they brought against Philadelphia. But I don't put, a quote unquote legacy game on Brock's shoulders against Philadelphia. Brock has proven he can make miraculous comebacks against Philadelphia last week, sure, but also against Detroit, against Green Bay, and really against Kansas City on their way to a near Super Bowl win 2 years ago. Brock's proven he's a winner. Brock's proven that he is, of the ilk of a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And while, yes, winning the big one is not on his resume just yet, but losing it is, I think the fact is Brock has won so many bigger games than Sam Darnold has in his entire career. He's won games where you got to have one drive to get it done, and you can't. You got to think, go back to week 18. San Francisco never led in that game. Never led in that game. That was the prototypical game you want to have if Sam Darnold is your quarterback. Get out to an early lead and run the ball the entire game and break San Francisco's defense down and wear them out. Bless you.
Bless you.
And San Francisco's defense couldn't stop them. Now, if you go back and watch that second half tape, San Francisco starts to run some single high safety, bring guys in the box, and they found more success against Darnold in the passing game. I think that it almost helps San Francisco having played Seattle 2 weeks ago. We can all talk about San Francisco needed the bye week and, they were so close. Seattle needed that game more than San Francisco did because they feel like they don't trust their quarterback. And I don't think Seattle, if San Francisco plays their best defensive game, is going to be able to execute the exact same game plan they utilized 2 weeks ago to beat San Francisco. And I think a big reason for that is, one, the improvement of Kendricks and Waddle over the middle of this defense that can tackle and are good run defenders. But also, I know, Dre, we're all big Johnny Dell fans here. He talked about Tatum Bethune's impact in that game. Mm-hmm. And it's obvious, it's evident that after coming back from the injury he had, he did not trust anything he saw. Yeah. He was questioning himself. And you have Eric Kendricks out there now, who has been a NFL Mike linebacker for a decade. He's played in playoff games, picked off Jimmy G in 2019 and made Shanahan quiver in his boots saying, I can't trust my quarterback anymore. That was Eric Kendricks. Mm-hmm. I think now having that guy who's been in playoff games, he's won playoff games, he's lost playoff games, having him now at Mike linebacker changes a ton for San Francisco's defense over the middle of the defense. But also, they need to play Alfred Collins and CJ West a lot more.
Yeah.
And I know I'm rambling here, so I'll get off and give you guys a chance, but I have a couple stats that I think will prove my point. And I'll say it quick here. Philadelphia last weekend had 19 carries for 85 yards, 4.5 yards a carry, when CJ West was not on the field. When West was on the field, Philadelphia had 17 carries for 55 yards, 30 less yards on 2 less carries, 3.2 yards a pop, though. 1.3 yards less when West was on the field.
Yep.
And you pair him with Alfred Collins, this year's second and fourth round draft picks. Philadelphia had 13 carries for 38 yards and 2.9 yards a carry with a much better offensive line. If you want to talk about the route to victory, because we're all trying to find that one narrow path, you got to play the youngsters. These young guys, because of injuries, have to be the ones that step up. They did it against Philadelphia last weekend. You have a tougher task ahead of you tomorrow. Young guys got to play, and they have to be the reason why you win.
Yeah.
Weston Collins have to be out there. They'll rotate guys for sure, but I don't want to see Khalid Davis. I don't want to see Jordan Elliott on 3rd and 2. Those young guys got to be out there. They can help San Francisco win this game and put pressure on Sam Darnold to help kind of fall apart, if you will, in front of the home crowd.
Funny, I actually had that as a topic to talk about the young guys.
I blew through it. Sorry.
But we can still hit on it though. I'll say this: when I say legacy game, it might not be in our eyes, but I feel like, and maybe I need to reword it. Is the word? Yeah. So many people are hyper reactive every game that 49ers have, especially if Brock plays bad in one game, right? They were hyper reactive when Mac Jones was playing well and Brock came back and he looked shaky. Oh, I don't know. Maybe Mac should be the starter. Or then Brock plays well and all of a sudden you have people talking like Ocho who are saying he's doing it without this guy. He's doing it without this guy. Maybe he is an elite quarterback. And then Brock has another bad game or has a bad game and it switches back the other way. I feel like, at least for this week, we're going to hear less of the negative and more of the positive. I feel like with Brock, with certain corners of the fan base, like every game is like a defining game for him because every game that he doesn't play up to certain people's expectations, we just go through the same, ring around the rosy with the same topics about maybe they overpaid him and he's not talented enough and he can't carry. It's just like, and so like last week I was preparing to hear all that trash. And then the way the game ended, I was like, oh, we staved it off for at least another week. Because if say this game against Seattle goes bad and Brock plays bad and they lose, it's going to start all over. So when I mean like legacy, I meant like putting it off for at least another week so that, giving him the credit he deserves at least for 1 week. That's
almost like waiting for someone's downfall. Of like you're just waiting to prey on it when Brock Purdy beat the second best defense in the NFC last week. But that's a bunch of BS.
Like, it is a bunch of BS. I agree.
That's ridiculous. Like you're waiting for the star quarterback of your franchise to play bad in the playoff game. And he threw 2 interceptions last weekend, but that's against the second best NFC defense, and now you're playing the best one. Like if Brock beats this game, then like what do you say? You just go in your corner and you kind of just sulk and cry because you're the guy you wanted to be quarterback or the guy you don't want to be quarterback is kicking ass. Like Brock wasn't perfect last weekend, but he played good enough to win, and the guy getting paid equal money as him didn't. Like the Eagles are a disaster right now. Do you see Mike Silver's report that just came out about Philadelphia?
They're a hot mess.
Like their talks to A.J. Brown, that defense, a lot of the offensive players out there are frustrated that no one can criticize Jalen Hurts. It is a Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll situation happening in Philadelphia. In San Francisco for 2 of the last 4 years may be the downfall of what Philadelphia is building. You have Howie Roseman saying, oh, you can still pay guys and also kind of retool. They ain't paying nobody this offseason. They're letting half that roster go. Like San Francisco ended what they wanted to be a dynasty, and no one's talking about it. That's Brock Purdy out there doing the Dougie and kind of whatever out there after the game. And I don't know, like the idea of a legacy game for a quarterback that's gone to a Super Bowl and nearly won it is kind of a bunch of crap to me. That's not Jared Goff. Purdy's better than Jared Goff.
Yes.
Like,
but I don't think it's
Jalen Hurts lost his first Super Bowl and then came back and won one. So why can't Purdy?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're saying, I'm just saying those waiting and preying on his downfall is ridiculous.
But it happens all the time. And Dre,
don't listen to him.
But I don't, but there's a lot of people that do.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, when you're paid as much as you're paid, what Brock Purdy's making, that talk is going to happen regardless. People are going to hold you accountable based on how you perform in the biggest scenario. So, look, when the Niners were whooping ass against the Colts and the Bears and all these other teams, there wasn't a lot to say about Brock Purdy because he was absolutely balling out there. Not only that, but look, think about this. Against the Carolina Panthers, he threw 3 interceptions, right? A lot of quarterbacks would have just completely mentally broken down, or the coaching staff, the offensive coordinator or head coach, would have taken the ball out of the quarterback's hands and turned that into a running game. They didn't do that. They just kept doing their same thing, and they ended up winning that game. So, look, I think when it comes to Brock Purdy, was that game against the Eagles a legacy game? I don't, because on that last drive, I expected him to score, and he did. At the same time, this is what we've seen Brock do year in and year out. And it makes me wonder, too, when you think about last season, how different would things have gone if Eric Kendricks hadn't gone to the Cowboys? If he would have stayed there and we never had Devondre Campbell? I mean, that's what was one of the biggest gripes about Devondre Campbell, besides being a fucking moron, was he couldn't cover anybody in coverage. Yeah. What can Kendricks do? He can cover in coverage, in pass coverage. So it makes you wonder if Devondre Campbell was a huge liability for this team last year. But anyway, I think that, for Brock Purdy, the pressure is off of him. Is he going to throw an interception or two? Probably, because he continues to attack downfield. However, I think in this game, they are going to, early on at least, I think they're going to look to get rid of the ball earlier, faster, and negate that pass rush. That last drive in which the Niners scored the touchdown against the Eagles to take the lead and eventually win that game, when you break down that entire drive, it had everything you wanted in that. He had tight windows to use check twice. He had the screen pass to Christian McCaffrey, who made a beautiful cut and was able to get a first down. He had an unblocked Zach Bond coming at him, unblocked. And he had the wherewithal to not only avoid the sack, but to have the proper footwork to put himself in a position to throw the ball away. I'm sorry. I love Mac Jones, but if that was Mac Jones, he gets sacked. There's no escaping that for Mac Jones. He would have saw that and just would have ate it like crap. And a lot of quarterbacks, Sam Darnold, sack. Jalen Hurts, maybe he gets away. He's a little elusive at times. He's but a lot of Sam Darnold. I'm not talking. What's his name from the Rams? I'm blanking right now.
Stafford.
Matthew Stafford, sacked.
Me.
Aaron, sacked.
You know
what I mean? So that alone, that ability, that play where he got rid of the football, that was clutch play. And then not only that, but then the touchdown. That was like his third or fourth read in his progression, and he found it his fifth, and he found them for a touchdown. And then not only that, but the play call. Did you guys see
the reverse Texas route?
Yeah, they've been running that play where he goes out in the flat for all season. And then this one time he hasn't run a Texas route, and that's where Nakobe Dean is like, oh, shit! And it was a touchdown because he was not expecting him to cut back in. He was like, oh, crap. He was fully committed to guarding him in the flat. It was genius. And not only that, but look, we got Robert Saleh coaching his ass off right now. I just think right now they're playing even without all these players, all the injuries that they still have, they're playing at such a high level. And it's not like this is a team that's like the Dodgers, which is full of fucking superstars left and right. Right now, these injuries, this team reminds me of the 2010 San Francisco Giants. Just a group of guys that has experience, that have been in the league, that know how to win, and they're just not fazed by these other teams that think that they're top shit. And so that's why I say, if we can win this game, I don't see anybody stopping us after this.
Dre, you mentioned Brock on that last drive, or more so about the Niners wanting to get the ball out quickly against Seattle. I think one of the reasons why you saw San Francisco struggle so much against them 2 weeks ago was the inability to pass block. And a big reason why you saw that was because you had guys like Trent Williams on the shelf, yes, but you had George Kittle in the backfield trying to help block. You had Christian McCaffrey trying to chip block in the backfield, leaving no outlets for Purdy in the check down game. And I think that now that Trent Williams is back at left tackle, I know Kittle's out, and that's a big loss when it comes to blocking. And Luke Farrell did not play well in Kittle's absence earlier in the season, so that's a big, question mark for myself. But now that you do have Trent back, you do have now the ability to utilize McCaffrey on the check downs, out of the backfield, Tungus, on the kind of, check down routes, or kind of the sit underneath. And if Pearsall plays, I don't know how much he'll play, but I think he will play this weekend. You can now expand your offense, pull those safeties, pull those linebackers further into the second and third levels of that defense, freeing up more things underneath. And where Seattle, while yes, is good at run blocking with their or run defending with the linebackers, they're not great coverage linebackers. I don't know if you guys have seen, and yeah, they utilize light boxes and stuff, but I don't know if you guys have seen Ernest Jones's stats walking in to week 18, where San Francisco really couldn't exploit him. It wasn't a great day or a great year for him in coverage, and I think that San Francisco can actually exploit Seattle's linebackers. He had a 73.4% completion rate, 482 yards allowed, and 1 touchdown in week 18. Now, that isn't terrible, but a 75% completion rate, you give me 4 yards a pop and you times it by 3, that's a first down every single time. And obviously there's more context and nuances of the game of football than that, but it kind of feels like San Francisco, like Seattle thinks they beat the San Francisco 49ers in week 18. When we know here that, no, you beat Austin Pleasance and an offensive line that couldn't block for their quarterback, that when he plays and has blocking is one of the best quarterbacks in football in the clutch in the entire league. So I think this game will be entirely different. The outcome may not be when it comes to wins and losses, but the Niners will have a much bigger fight to give tomorrow night in Seattle. And I think a big reason for that is the ability to have those checkdowns and screen games finally open up for them against Seattle tomorrow night.
You guys always have a way of easing my worries and anxiety going into any game. It's crazy. No, but and I'll stop talking about Brock after this. I just think that even if we were to win a Super Bowl with Brock and he played well, there's just always going to be those people that are going to consistently move the goalpost forever. And for me, last week meant something because it staves it off for 1 week. But we all know that doesn't change, whenever they lose, whether it's, this coming Saturday, or maybe they lose in the conference championship, or maybe they don't lose. We know it's not going to change. So that was the reason I asked you guys. I know you guys don't believe in that crap and that you believe Brock is a really good quarterback, as do I. So I don't know. I'd bring it up because it's a legitimate thing to ask, because on social media, you have your neutral people, you have your pro Trey Lance, even though he hasn't been here for 3 years. We're still talking about him, even though he's made it abundantly clear that he can't play in this league, at least as a starter. And then there's the people that are realistic, that actually pay attention to football and watch football and study football and know that Brock is a really good quarterback, despite all his limitations and where he was drafted. So that's all I wanted to bring up. Let's go back into the rookies. So I was talking to Mike 2 weeks ago. We were kind of down on them. It was after the Seattle game. About, we got all these draft picks, we drafted all these defensive players, but we're not really seeing the what the Niners were trying to sell us early in the offseason with going cheap. And then this game happened, and then you brought up some of the stats with the defensive tackles, the rookies, Collins and West playing together. And then you have the contributions in the game of Marquise Siegel, even though he kind of made the situation where he had to have that one-on-one tackle by, I think, being out of position. I forgot what the talk was in that game. And then Upton Stout, he's had this up and down, hot and cold kind of year where he looks good 1 week, but then he's kind of getting, tore up another week. I feel like this year, because of how this year went and because we were so injured, it kind of had a thing of, learning under fire, without a safety net. There's no top stars that are kind of protecting you, or you're able to come along slowly. These guys have pretty much been thrown into the fire. And I feel like going forward into next year, with another group of draft picks and free agency. I feel like this year was a great learning. It was great for them to learn with the way this season has went. I just think going forward, they're really going to be a lot better than I initially thought. I don't know. What do you guys think?
It kind of sounds like you're agreeing with their decision to retool.
Yes.
In which you hated for 18 weeks of the year. You complained for 18 weeks. And look, yeah, there are ups and downs. And obviously, the foresight, right? There's no Michael, who's been out for half the season because of injury, and Nick Martin. I think the concussion thing with him is really scary, and that really sucks. And we haven't seen Jordan James. We haven't seen Curtis Rourke. And Connor Colby was kind of a nice plug and play. Then he got really bad. Like, a lot of context into why there was reasons to doubt and complain. But it's almost like San Francisco had the foresight to say, hey, we have a bunch of young guys and we can retool and save some money in the meantime. Also re-sign Warner and now Kittle and now Purdy, which now two of those guys have been out for half the year. One guy will miss all next year, which sucks. But it's almost like for all the crap they got, they did everything right, or at least most things right. And even the trade deadline stuff, you can make a move. They beat the team that made the move. Now, I'm not saying that guy wouldn't help, but they also added at the deadline, Keon White, big impact player for them, or at least in some cases. They got Eric Kendricks, and they waiver claimed Garrett Wallow, who was great in a playoff game for them. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm not saying it's perfect by any means, because it's not, but had they lost last weekend, we're having a whole different conversation. Like, what the hell, right? But I'd even push back on the thought that Stout's been up and down. You go back to that Cardinals game, and since then, Upton Stout has been this team's best run defender on the exterior. And I think he's been one of their best coverage players too. Yeah, he's undersized. Had a big fourth down stop against Philadelphia last weekend. I think he's been one of their biggest impact defensive players the last month and a half of the season. And I would give John and Kyle, and maybe it was trial by fire, like you said, Aaron, you are right. It could have gone either way. But the way things have gone, the people they've had to rely on that are rookies, I think they've stepped up in a big way. And Marquis Siegel has his biggest opportunity tomorrow night to just shock us and wow us. And he hasn't started since week 5 against the Rams, got benched and didn't play after that, which I think is a big mistake. But if this defense helps keep that JSN Darnold offense down, and this offense can find a way to score 25 points, 24 points, and they win, my God. You give them a whole offseason, a whole other draft class. San Francisco's window is not just open. It's wide open. And fans need to get on board with that. It's here, and they're here to stay.
When you saw what they did to the Eagles receivers. Okay, so how many third downs did we see where they were bringing not only pressure up front, but they were playing press man coverage with Upton Stout, Renato Green, and Deommodore Lenoir, which is something that I've been wanting them to do for so long. Because we know that Lenoir, Green, I think even Upton Stout, those are man coverage kind of guys that like to bump those guys at the line of scrimmage and get them off their timing. I think that's what was huge. Upton Stout nearly had a pick 6. I think if this is next year, he does. So I think that, look, against the Seahawks, you got to play press man, especially against JSN, because you need to throw him off his timing, get him off his route. Now, look, they don't want to do it because they're afraid he's going to burn past you, but he's not a huge guy. So I say, especially on third downs, press man, bump him at the line of scrimmage, slow him down, and make Sam Darnold have to think about where he's going with that football, because if he doesn't have Smith and Jigba open or as an option, his numbers go way down. He relies so much on Smith and Jigba to catch that ball and run after the catch. And if you eliminate that, which we saw the Rams do, I think, week 17, week 16?
Yeah, for like 3 quarters.
Yeah, the Rams took him out of the game, and all of a sudden you saw Sam Darnold not know what to do with the football. So that's what Niners have to do. They have to take him out of the game, but really they need to stop the run, which is what they couldn't do last week. When you look at when you look at week 18's numbers, the Seahawks, Kenneth Walker ran for 97 yards on 16 carries. Charbonnet, 17 carries for 74 yards. In week 1, when we beat them, Those guys ran for Charbonnet 12 carries, 47 yards, Kenneth Walker 10 carries, 20 yards. And that's why we won the game, because they didn't have those big gashing runs that were just killing us in week 18.
First, I want to hit the super chat real quick from Tommy Huxley. It's definitely not my channel. I do not know whose channel it is. Are you monetized yet, Dre?
No, it's on Sterling's.
Sterling, Tommy Huxley says, is Renardo Green our worst starting DB?
I mean, if you're going to compare all three of them, I mean, I don't know. I don't think so.
I think it depends on the matchup, right? I think Green did a great job last weekend against A.J. Brown and frustrating him and, giving some more physical coverage against a bigger body wide receiver. That was one of my concerns, right? That Philadelphia, that while they have their offensive struggles, do want to push the ball downfield. And Hurts, despite, again, his inaccuracies at times, they will. Hurts was the third highest or second highest graded per PFF deep ball passer in football. And I think against bigger body wide receivers, Green is the archetype guy you want. He is that Mooney Ward guy that will get in your face, will get physical and whatnot. But I think a big reason that hinders San Francisco's defensive backs at times is they're all pretty small. Lenore's 5'10". That's small. Now, you can play well there, and Lenore's been better in past years and has kind of been okay this year. But I would say their worst defensive back isn't playing this weekend. That's Jair Brown.
So
thank
100%.
God. Which I hope Jair Brown gets healthy. And I think really I wouldn't hate Jair Brown being on the field if he was in that big nickel role in which he was in week 2. And then Siegel started playing bad and they benched him. Like, Jair Brown works in a very limited capacity. And I think that if you could flip-flop Pinnock and Brown with Siegel playing free safety behind them, I'm all for it. But in coverage this year, playing free safety or playing safety, Brown has been just hot dog flavored water. Mm-hmm. If you guys can get that reference.
Oh, I've been around. My whole thing, I think the only person that I really made a comment on that I didn't understand the draft pick, and I know, other people are able to explain it way better and kind of are way smarter and know the facts and know all the stats and everything that, Mykal Williams definitely is good. And his draft pick makes sense and all that stuff. I just thought what did they pick him at? 12?
11?
They picked him at 11.
11.
When we know that the Niners really lack that other pass rusher opposite Bosa, right? That was my biggest thing, because he's not a pass rusher. He's a edge setter at defensive end. He's a large man. He can kick inside. That was the one draft pick that I questioned, only because for what we were doing, cutting cost, all that stuff, we let a couple guys go that were depth pieces like Leonard Floyd, and then you bring in a rookie who essentially isn't a pass rusher. I think that's the one, like the defensive tackles.
But they did have the edge rusher though.
What, in Huff and Bosa?
Yeah, you said they didn't have the opposite pass rusher.
I'm talking about like a guy who's a 12 sack a year guy, like a D Ford, whose one job is to come in and do that.
Yeah, but D Ford only had 10 sacks and he broke his back basically.
Pretty much.
At least Huff is healthy, and I think we can all agree that if Bosa and Mykal were healthy, then Huff probably has 12 sacks this year, the way he was going. Like you're not wrong in the sense of wanting that. We all want that. Every team wants that. Philadelphia has that and more. But I think more so what you're getting at is, and it's kind of what I hit on a couple weeks ago, was like, you're never going to see what this team could be at its full strength. You never saw it. Kittle got hurt in the first drive of the first week of the season. You didn't see it. And then Bosa got out and Fred got hurt and Mykal got hurt. You never saw this team, never, out of one drive to begin the year, fully healthy.
They haven't been. It's true.
It sucks, but yeah.
I mean, it was always an incomplete on West because of the injury that he suffered this year. And Collins, a lot of us going into the season, a lot of people, at least I was, were concerned about Collins because of, I think he got into camp late or he was injured. I forgot exactly.
He signed late, then he suffered an ankle injury at the combine, I believe.
Yeah. So there was a lot of questions about him. And then he seems like he's always at the epicenter of a huge turnover that we need, or a big play, a big stop, which is awesome. You're right. We haven't seen this defense at full strength. Like Siegel, Marquise Siegel, it was like, I think we talked about this after the draft, Sterling. You were not the biggest fan of him in coverage as a coverage safety, and he's not really a thumper per se. So, I mean, how much? Is he a better upgrade? I mean, we're comparing him to Jair Brown. He can't cover worth of crap. So, like, how much of an upgrade really is it to Marquise Siegel at safety when it comes to coverage?
I think the biggest difference is one, tackling, right? Siegel's much more comfortable playing towards the line of scrimmage. He's much more comfortable because he was a former nickelback. He's comfortable in the up and stout role. Then he moved to safety. And I think it was smart, that Kansas State defense, if you go and watch them, I'm forgetting his name, but it's the guy in Tampa Bay who was their nickelback, and he was awesome this year. But it's a bunch of undersized dudes. Yeah, it's John Lynch. But it's a bunch of undersized dudes that really have no business being as strong and aggressive as they are, just swarming the football. And it's why you saw San Francisco take him. And yeah, he isn't the biggest guy and he isn't the strongest guy, but I think San Francisco doesn't really value having these amazing coverage safeties. They have a lot of the same archetype guys back there. It's a reason why I think a lot of us questioned Siegel and Brown. Why'd you bench them or whatnot? And I think a big reason for that was Siegel probably was busting coverage because he didn't know the coverages just yet, whereas Brown knew the coverages. He just wasn't good enough physically. And that's the biggest difference. Now, why did it take 18 weeks in injury to change things? I don't know. But Siegel at least seems like he knows the coverages better, knows his assignments better. And it does seem as if that now that he's had time to kind of sit back, take in the information, that he'll at least know where to be and not get beat deep downfield a lot. Now, we'll see what happens tomorrow, but I think you're at least getting a more sure tackling player towards line of scrimmage, which you already saw in space. You put Jair Brown in the situations last weekend against Philadelphia, the guy's probably still running for a touchdown right now. Like, Jair Brown over pursues. He misses tackles too much. He avoids his lanes. He doesn't know his gap assignments. He's terrible. I wouldn't be shocked, outside of having some contractual control for the next year and a half or 2 years, he doesn't get cut in the offseason. He's been that terrible.
Yeah, he's been rough.
And so there will be in some instances where Siegel will show improvement. Now, coverage remains to be seen, but at least tackling and run defending, you will see an improvement against Seattle tomorrow night.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, when we saw Siegel come in, we saw him flying across the line of scrimmage, making tackles in the backfield, making tackles against the running back. He smashed Saquon Barkley in his left hip, which took him out of the game for a couple of plays because he was like, oh my God, that hurt. I just think right now, one thing that you're seeing from the Niners, which is surprising in itself, but you're seeing guys come in who are healthy and who are fresh. Like Wallow, Kendricks, Siegel, these guys haven't played in weeks. These guys they're fresh. They don't have ailing injuries that they've been battling all season. They're ready to rock right now. And so you saw in that game that like how much more energy and speed they brought to the game because they're not hurt. They haven't had the treads wore down their tires. Like they're fresh, they're ready to go. And you saw it. I mean, all these teams right now that are playing in the playoffs, they're all beat up. They're all have ailing injuries. They've all had something that happened to them early in the season that's still lingering now. These guys don't. These guys were flying around the field. So that's a good thing. You're getting fresh legs, fresh bodies that want to win, that want to do their job. And look, when you look at Garrett Wallow, he was, and talk about like, knowing your assignment and where to be. He was everywhere. And then he made this shoestring tackle on Saquon Barkley. That could have been a huge gain. Now, there's a lot of things that happened in this game that were just that were so huge. Even the Keon White sack, the shoestring sack on Jalen Hurts. Hurts could have ran for like 15 yards. And instead, he got him by the ankle for a loss of 1 yard. That was fucking huge. Like, oh my God. So right now the Niners are playing at such a high level, and not only that, but they're playing at a clutch level, which they weren't playing in Week 18. Week 18 was, we got to survive this to get to the bye week. That's what we need to get to, and it didn't work out. But I think almost to their benefit, it's been better that they didn't get the bye week, because now they're just going balls to the wall. They have nothing to lose, and that's what I'm saying. It's going to be a really good game on Saturday.
I brought up that the bye week put more pressure on them to be expected be the actual number one seed. Like by default, if you get the number one seed, you're supposed to be the best team in that conference, and you're supposed to be the front runner to go to the Super Bowl in that conference. In a way, things kind of worked their way out, where the Niners were never that team this year because of injuries, and it kind of took the pressure off of them to coming into the playoffs, where they essentially are just, like you guys have been saying, you guys repeated this incessantly, they're playing with house money. A lot of 49ers on social media, they're playing with house money. They are. And maybe the reason for me taking a while to come around to the rookies this year was just because, like, I don't know, there was so much made of it. There was so much like the fact that they cut so much payroll in the offseason, and John and Kyle, especially John, were really trying to sell you on these rookies. And I guess I didn't see it early on right away to really maybe buy into it. And I didn't think per se that the window was open or was opening with these guys on the field. But over time, and especially in the last game, a lot of my mind was changed. They still have a lot of growing to do for sure. But whenever the season ends and they go into the next offseason, they have a base on defense that I didn't think they were going to have coming into this offseason. And I think more of the worry goes to the offense. We made so much of the defense this past offseason, and then during this season, how the defense was kind of under the scrutiny because they had to cut so many bodies to save money. And now the offense is kind of maybe going through the same retool going into this offseason, where Juwan Jennings is possibly out the door. Ricky Pearsall, you can't count on him. And Ayuk is a goner. So they essentially are going into this offseason where they need to.
And George Kittle's probably out for all next year.
What?
That's another thing, too. No, you got to be truthful about it. You got to be truthful about it. Yes.
Like, whoa.
Oh, sorry.
So in that way, that makes me more critical of why we didn't see the young guys like the Cowings and the Watkins, because they've been so talent deficient this year at times throughout their roster. This wasn't the year to sit on your hands with certain guys. They didn't have a choice on defense. They kind of did on offense. Now the pressure is into this offseason. What we saw with the defense this past offseason, their offense is going to have to go through a similar restructure, maybe an infusion of youth, whether they decide to sign a free agent wide receiver from somewhere, or they double down on something we don't want them to do, and that's probably draft a receiver in the first round. I just think that a lot of my
give
worry.
me Makai Lemon, we're gonna have some fun. Out of USC, he's gonna be gone, but man, he's phenomenal.
Yeah, but you guys good? I mean, can we move on?
Yes.
I don't want to move on without. I'm sorry.
Well, first, let's look at Tommy's super chat, the second one. Which Tommy, thank you so much for the other $2.
Sorry, Tommy.
Going right into my wife's pocket for Starbucks, so I appreciate it. He says
100%.
Once the season is over, I'm assuming that means the strength and conditioning staff needs to go. This may feed into what Aaron wants to get into in regards to conspiracy theories, but there has to be an overhaul somewhere. There has to really be an overhaul somewhere. I don't know if that's how they prepare. I don't know if that's how they stretch. Maybe it is conditioning. But yeah, too many hamstring injuries, too many soft tissue injuries. You draft guys that already have these things. Isaac Grendo comes to mind, who they drafted a couple years ago, that had 4 hamstring strains coming into the year. You saw Cowing have a hamstring strain and never play the whole year because he kept restraining it. Yetur Gross-Matos being a big problem. So yeah, San Francisco, while it can sit back and complain about losing Fred and Kittle and big guys, and yeah, we're still in this thing, wouldn't it be a lot better to have at least 75% of your roster healthy, 80% of your roster healthy, instead of what seems like 55% of it? So yes, something has to change. Hopefully Kyle, who realized his errors in the special teams realm, this past offseason, and cutting Moody and getting in Brant Boyer, hopefully the training staff can have an overhaul as well to it.
Yeah, if the Niners are smart, and you want to talk anything about offseason, they need to. Here, I'll just do this instead. Let me just share the screen. This will solve all of our issues. What's going on right now? If they want to make a move that's going to benefit them in the long run, they're going to tear down the goddamn substation and put it right there next to Dodger Stadium. Done. Done.
Nice.
Did you make that during the show?
No, somebody posted that. I was like, oh, perfect. There it is. It's exactly what we have to do right there.
Nice.
That's exactly what we got to do. That's it.
It's funny that we were talking about this because it kind of takes me into my next point that I want to make. We'll talk about injuries a sec for
what a
the
segue.
game.
What
But
a segue.
My brother sent this to me before the stream. I know you guys, it's like whatever, there's no proof, blah, blah, blah. But I just thought it would make good for the show. We could kind of break it down and make fun of it, or we can maybe dive into it. So let me play it.
Francisco 49ers have been one of the most injured teams in the NFL for a long period of time. And this theory is something that some players have talked about on the Niners roster. The fact that where they practice and their practice field is located next to an electrical substation. And could EMF be the reason for why the Niners are suffering from this historic of injuries? Well, we have a new development on this front. The Washington Post just released an article, and it's titled as such: An Injured NFL Team, a Power Substation, and a Theory That Won't Fade. A viral online theory for the San Francisco 49ers injuries is disputed by scientists, but has some players' attention. It's also fair to acknowledge that some of the scientists who are quoted in this story did say this is worth looking into, and this could be a reason why the Niners are so injured year over year. Also within that story, some NFL players have started to reach out to their agents about the location of the Niners practice field. Players have voiced real concerns about the dangers of EMF, and some agents think this might impact the Niners' ability to attract or retain free agents this upcoming offseason. One agent told the Washington Post he thinks the Niners might have to move their practice field entirely. Another agent has wondered why his client, a player in the NFL, or his clients, talking about multiple players, have taken longer to heal while playing with the 49ers.
His radiation
We got out Justin. We got
Not
out
the
Justin.
AI.
Oh, it's the
AI.
worst. It's the worst.
my
No.
God.
I was trying to time it up because I knew that was coming. But
Like, I like this post right here that I'm sharing with you guys. This was perfect. I saw this as I was watching that horrendous video.
thanks. Just trying to make it. I was trying to make light of things. Oh, okay. Here we go.
How
this
long have-
electrical substation.
Oops, that's not wrong.
No, not that one.
How long
There
has
it
San
is.
Francisco practiced?
Some see a power substation. Some see a practice field. It's been there for how long?
Forever. Like, okay, we used to let dudes get drunk on Saturdays after working in a coal mine for 5 days a week, and they'd play 4 quarters of football and go back to work at their 9-to-5 blue-collar job. Like, I get it. John Feliciano believes in it. He said some of the players in the room believe in it. I'm not a scientist. Maybe it's worth looking at. Fine. I think everything is worth questioning. That's how I live my life. Question everything, right? But sometimes you kind of have to look at the grand scheme of things and say, they've been there for like 50 years. They've practiced there for like 50 years. Those teams in the 80s didn't have that problem.
They
Those
weren't in
teams
the,
in the
they
90s
weren't,
didn't have that
weren't they in
problem.
Rockland in the 80s?
They've been there forever. Whether it's actual 80s or not, they've been there forever. Like,
Right.
it's not like
Long
this is a
time.
new thing. It's a new facility. Yeah, it's upgraded in some capacity, but like they've been there forever. And Aaron, you are accurately talking about, previous regimes and the soft era football players we have. Yeah, guys didn't get hurt back then. It wasn't because of the substation. It was because
No.
they weren't 100, 200 pounds dripping wet, shredded to bits with muscles popping out of their cocks. Like, that's the issue.
Nice.
Is you have DK Metcalf out there and AJ Brown shredded all the hell,
Bashar's got
And-
the info right there.
and like none of these guys, can do anything. It's like the Niners aren't getting injured and have hamstring strains because of the EMF levels. They're getting hamstring strains and not recovering because they don't know how to train right, or at least the training staff has no idea what they're doing. And one, that is terrible. That's negligence of the GM and the ownership of, like, we got to figure this thing out. But Aaron, go ahead.
Is it worth at least looking into?
Yes.
We're hurt
sure. Why
all
not?
the time, every year. You know what my jealousy is in this playoffs? Is you look at teams, even the Eagles, they beat us, or we beat them, excuse me. Sorry. They were healthy. Seattle's healthy. All the really good teams this year, other than Buffalo in the playoffs, because Buffalo's had a rash of injuries this year, they're healthy. Yeah. The Niners are never healthy, ever. 2023 was like an outlier. It just sucks, man. Like, you look into every year, and it's like, if we were full strength, what could we have done? But it's the question all the time, guys. It's not like a one-off. It's not like the Bills. Oh, the Bills are really hurt this year. What could they have been if they were not hurt all year? But the Niners are always hurt, other than 2023. So it's like, to me,
okay, then where do they practice in 2023?
I don't know, man. They just got lucky.
The substation. So, like, what's the deal?
Point I'm trying to make
they
is
practice
the point
inside the substation.
It's my point is, it's less about the substation and it's more about the point that was made in the chat.
Sure.
I think they have to uncover every stone and try to figure out a way to. I don't know what you got to do. You know, I know that the leader of our health staff has been the same guy for a very long time, but a lot of the people under him have changed. I mean, is it worth taking a look at this offseason? I mean, it can't hurt us, right? Now, if they go and change everything out and we still get hurt, then that's a whole other thing. But to me, at this point, I would love to have a season where we can actually, like, talk about guys in the offseason or guys we drafted and get excited about free agent signings and actually have them on the field for most of the season, if not the whole season. That's all I'm saying. Out of all people, I didn't mean to put Chase up on there. I know some people were like, geez, Chase Sr., he's an Eagles fan. But it was given to me by my brother, so I figured I'd go for it.
Well, here's a quote here from the Bristol Medical School professor, Frank DeVocht, VOCHT. He says that the Washington Post, or he told the Washington Post, the idea of the EMFs are leading to more injuries is quote unquote nonsense, while UC Davis's radiology professor Gerald Bushberg told Front Office Sports there is no firmly established evidence that EMFs can weaken soft tissue. Now, again, I'm all for questioning everything, and I'm fine looking into this, because why wouldn't you? You're a $1 billion organization who wants to win a Lombardi Trophy. Just look into it and see what you can. But I don't know, man. Like, all these players have every single device strapped to their body. They sleep next to their phones. They have iPads. They have televisions. They have all these cars that can talk to them and do a freaking dance like a transformer. They're getting, like, there's radiation off all those things.
Yeah.
So,
you're right.
Like, if you want to, take all the phones away. Take all the iPads away. Take all the TVs away and say, hey, there's a reason why everyone was so freaking healthy in the 80s and 90s. They weren't bombarded by radiation. I don't think it's true.
My whole thing is,
who knows?
Johnny Dell, I respect him. He makes great content. He breaks down film. He's the best. I said to him the other day on social media, I said, you make everybody feel smarter. He even thinks that, like, he was talking about some of the soft tissue injuries. You know, you can't help the Fred Warners. You can't help the Nick Bosa's, even though Nick Bosa, this is his third knee injury since high school. Yeah. That's an issue. But, like, some of the more serious stuff, it just happens. But it's all the soft tissue and the long recoveries. That has to be, you'd be stupid not to go into this offseason and at least look into it. Don't make a change, whatever, but look into it. And just, I don't know, man. It drives me insane. Oh, look, aliens. I don't know why this is.
This is what I want to talk about. Aliens. I think extraterrestrials are the reason why the Niners are ripping hamstrings and Achilles tendons is aliens. So maybe we should move on.
Maybe we're like, maybe we're in the upside down and we don't even know about it. I don't know. But yeah. Sorry.
I mean, I also think the big reason isn't the substation. I think it's the way Kyle prepares. We talked about this before in previous seasons, that there was a report, I think, came out in 2020, 2019. And we can talk about Yetur Gross-Matos too for a second, but Kyle would have guys in pads on Thursday.
Yeah.
No team was doing that in the NFL. And that's fine if everyone else is doing it and it's not leading to injuries. but nobody else was doing it, and the team was decimated by injury. I just think the way Kyle wants and the level he has for players is astronomically high, and I get that it can lead to a lot of winning and you can push guys to reach their best, but on top of that, you may push guys' bodies so far they can't recover. Yetur Gross-Matos being a big part of that, but Yetur Gross-Matos was also hurt in Carolina where there ain't a substation, and he was always hurt in Carolina and was a failed second-round draft pick without a substation. So it's like, I don't know, man. It's
like if you
sure, but
I think this is a good point that what's his name, Dipshit Hall, or no?
No, I think it is. I think it is close to Dipshit
Hall.
Depeche Wall.
Depeche, sorry, he's going to be
a Saturday game helps the Niners. If Sam has an oblique injury, a Sunday game would have given him an extra day to heal. Fuck you, Seahawks. Yes, I agree. Dipshit Hall nailed it on all fronts right there. Now,
an extra day didn't help Pearsall. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Extra day didn't help Pearsall.
I don't know if an extra day is going to help Pearsall's PCL find stability. You already said yesterday to the media.
He said that it's not going to get healthy until he has rest in the offseason.
Well, he also said that. He also said it hurts a ton trying to make Pearsall. He said it hurts a ton trying to make explosive movements, and I was like, just catch and go down, brother. Catch and go down.
Turn into Tyler Lockett, man. Yeah. That's why he played so long without getting hurt. Man, okay. Let's touch on the injuries, and then we'll go into our predictions and stuff. All that stuff. So the injury to George Kittle last week was totally devastating. It was like happening in slow motion when I watched the game. But it just felt like the story of the 2025 Niners. But that it has to be written this way, that we can't have nice things.
That's one of the greatest things about this team is that what they are able to overcome. I mean, look, he went down. A lot of us were like, this guy's falling. Like, this is it.
I was actually a little numb when it happened. I was
it was just like, oh my God, no. But then the Niners were just like, shit, where is he? Is he down? Hang in there. All right, let's go.
All right, we're running a play.
And they had a huge play right after that. Look at Kyle Shanahan in the locker room after the game. Where's George? Is George here? They're like, yeah, he's over here. Hey, brother, thank you for everything, dude. Thank you for everything. All right, guys. You know what I mean? Like, they're so used to players going down that they were just
we're going to dance to one song and one song only.
Yeah, it was just like, well, I mean, that's what happens, right? I mean, look where we're at. And they're about to get a guy back, hopefully next week, if they can win this game in Fred Warner. I was convinced he was coming back this week. It looks like he's not. I'm not trying to take over the show here, but let me ask you a question. Aaron, when you saw that Fred Warner was not going to be coming back this Saturday,
did you blame the EMF substation?
Did you blame the EMF?
No, but I was like, I blamed.
What?
I didn't blame
you blamed anybody?
No. I was lying. I was trying to make. No, I was trying to make a joke, and it just.
Oh, like,
popped.
Damn, dude.
He faked me out. You know, Cam says right. I was convinced he was coming back. I was telling my coworkers he's coming back.
You called it.
What?
For anybody who's in this chat right now that has never been here before, Dre called the return of Fred Warner probably 6 weeks ago or more.
I said divisional round, and he tried. Don't get me wrong.
But
I think he
tried.
That
you said it. Me and Sterling were like, okay. Point being, I saw the injury report, and I'm like, did he get re-injured? But then I saw the quote from Kyle, and he was like, I don't know exactly what the quote was, but it was like, essentially, if we play next week, he has a chance to play, kind of thing. Yeah. And he was never going to play off the first week of practice because you're expecting soreness, tightness. Maybe he's not healed all the way. But man, my brother said, he's like, even if he doesn't do anything for you guys, he's just his presence, he goes, like, galvanizes the team to just bring their level of play up because Fred
galvanizes. Okay.
Yeah, coming from a Dolphins fan who doesn't know anything. Word. It's a huge word.
I like that word. I'll start using that more.
Understanding. Exactly.
It's a great song too.
But no, I think his presence in him even being, on the sideline in these last, the games that we won before we lost to Seattle, I thought his impact and his presence was huge. it's crazy because like it's the total juxtaposition of Brandon Ayuk, who hasn't been around and quit on the team, and then you have the ultimate team guy who's spent the last 2 months trying to get himself ready for the playoffs. What do we got here, guys?
This is for your brother right here. It's just for your brother. Deometer Lenore tweeted out, "Leave us alone. We good, man."
He's not actually high on. He's actually not high on him.
I know, but still, he was like, "Go away."
He loves Saleh. He just doesn't think he's a good offensive coach.
Well, he's not.
But yeah, I don't know what are you guys thinking about the Fred Warner situation, Sterling? Like the fact that he has a chance to play next week.
Oh, it's great. You have to get there first, though.
Yeah, right.
And I hope they will. And I think if they do, he'll play. I am a little bit concerned about his health. Obviously, he had a week off, or he's had 3 months off, and 1 day of practice, really. And, if he played tomorrow, I would be really concerned of, like, is it the smartest move to make? You're really risking, taking Kendricks out of the lineup and everything. I don't know. It just feels like getting Fred back, though. You heard the team talk about him in a positive way. You've heard the team kind of feel I don't want to say the impact, but it's like when a dude has aura and just commands the room, your eyes turn, right? And I think having Fred out there on the sideline, talking to the defense, getting them prepared, being in the meetings, it matters. It's the reason why losing Kittle sucks so bad for the offense, because you knew, man, they don't have many game changers. They have McCaffrey and they have Purdy, but you got Kittle out there in offensive weaponry that's really depleted in regards to the receivers. It can change a lot for you. And I think, having Fred out there is almost like having a mini Robert Saleh on your defense from the sideline, getting dudes fired up. And to kind of use the baseball reference for the Giants, they didn't go anywhere this year, but he can be their Willie Adames, someone to kind of pick dudes up when they make a bad play, or when the guys make a big play, out there running around and jumping around and stuff and going crazy. And, people feed off that, right? Whether it's a job or whether it's, in football, like, you feed off energy. It's all momentum, right? And if you can swing momentum in a place like Lumen Field in Seattle, a lot can change really fast. You saw it in San Francisco plenty of times against opposing teams, and you've seen it in Philadelphia last week. The minute San Francisco scored that first touchdown, everything went quiet. And Philadelphia went, uh-oh, we may have a challenge on our hands today. And obviously things went in their favor. So, having Fred out there with the young guys and whatnot will be a big impact for this team, really in any capacity you can ask of.
Dre?
When I found out that he wasn't going to play, I was fucking devastated. I was like, oh my God. But look, I think will he come back if we win this game? Absolutely, but we have to win this game. And I think that having Garrett Wallow and Eric Kendricks out there, they're fresh, they're ready to go. They played outstanding last week against the Philadelphia Eagles. And look, you say what you want, but Philly has more assets on offense than the Seahawks do. They have A.J. Brown. They had Devontae Smith. They have Saquon Barkley. They had what's his name? The right tackle, Mialata.
You're loaded.
Didn't have Lane Johnson. I think that really hurt them a lot. And then his backup went down. I was like, oh my God. But Dallas Goedert. So they have a lot of assets on offense that Seattle doesn't. And I think that, but the way that they play call and the way they play, it reminds me a lot of Seattle. Seattle has a very anemic offense. They're very much run the ball and set up play action and don't ask Sam Darnold to do too much. Really, he's their version of Jimmy Garoppolo. They're running a Jimmy Garoppolo style offense that we saw like in 2023, where it's don't ask Jimmy to do too much. He'll have games here and there. He'll light it up, like the way Jimmy did against the Saints that year. A couple years later, he did it in Mexico City, where Jimmy looked like, oh, this guy's amazing, but he can't consistently do that. So I don't see Sam Darnold as being a guy that's gonna go out there and just deliver in the playoffs. I think he's gonna go out there and they're going to treat him like, hey, let's not let him make a mistake. Let's put the ball in our best playmakers' hands and play conservative and let our defense set the tone. I think that's what Seattle's gonna do.
Seattle runs what I call the protect the egg offense, which is you have a person holding an egg in the middle, and then you have a group of people on the outside trying to protect somebody from getting in there and crushing the egg. That they're not an offensive juggernaut, even with Njigba on their offense. So, yeah, Fred Warner, I think his presence. My worry is that he's going to re-injure himself. So I'm kind of like I'm on the fence. As much as I'd love to have him back.
Jesus, dude, come on.
I'm just being honest.
Oh, God.
I'm scared. I'm scared, man.
Sure,
like,
I get that. But
like
man,
I'm being why not? Why I know. Don't put the energy out there. I get it. But you guys know
you are the substation right now.
I am the substation.
Oh, chill.
I'm surprised I'm not getting attacked here today by my favorite fan. He's not in here.
Where is Bebop? Start the Judas talk again.
Here.
We need that in here.
He's here. He said what's up.
Oh, okay.
He's in my chat.
Oh, okay. That's right. I haven't blocked, but yeah. Mr. Negative. I'm not negative. I'm just realistic.
I love it.
No, I am negative. You're right. I'm looking forward to the game. Pearsall, the thing on Pearsall to me is the fact that he's able to give it a go this week would be great. How long he stays in the game is a whole other thing. But like I said to you guys earlier, this offseason offensively, I know this is kind of an offshoot point. They have to do a little bit of a retool like they did on the defense last year with the offense. You can't go into the offseason with Pearsall as your number one, or at least your perceived number one when you got.
Why are we talking about the offseason? We have the biggest game coming up this Saturday. Let's talk about Seattle and Niners. I mean, look, next week, Aaron, let's talk
You're
about
talking
the
like we
offseason.
already lost,
Yeah,
man.
I know. I'm like,
What is
happened
happening?
yet.
But it worked last week.
You're not doing it on purpose. You do this all the time.
This is all natural. It's coming organically.
You've had no belief in this team all year, and every time you've not believed, they have defied the expectation you've set for them, which, keep in mind,
you were part of setting that expectation.
No.
I
said they were going to win 10 games this year and beat the team in the playoffs. You said 12-5 and they'll be a first-round exit. I know things changed. The year goes healthy then.
Like
you have not believed in.
If you want to do a mock draft with
against anybody,
true.
Let's do a mock draft right now.
Yeah, dude. The first round draft
are on the clock.
Yeah, pick 26, brother. They're not going anywhere after this game.
Can we block Charlie Brown? Yeah, I mean you're right. I've had my doubts all year. I do have. Maybe it works for me though. Maybe that's a psychological thing for me that I don't go into any game with any expectation because I can't. In the past, I've had a hard time.
But you're saying you don't walk in with any expectation, but the expectation you're saying is completely negative towards the game. I get it. Like they're banged up and they're hurt and they're on the road. They're in Seattle. The odds are stacked against them. There's reasons to believe they're not going to win this game. I get that. I didn't think, or at least for the most part.
Lori, people pick on me all the time.
We're not trying to pick on you, man. It's just that this is the biggest game of the year tomorrow. And you're like, well, next year. Who cares?
They can't go into the offseason with Ricky Pearsall as ever
Who cares?
Like, I don't care. They're not there yet.
In Seattle tomorrow,
if they lose, then we can talk about that.
Like the season's not over. Is our point.
Listen. At least I'm consistent.
All right, let's talk about Seattle and the Niners. You want to do our final score predictions and keys of the game?
Sure.
Aaron, how are they going to lose? Tell us, brother.
He's like. Brock Purdy's going to tear.
No, I think in this game, to be honest with you, the Niners have to possess the ball long time. They had a lot of 3-and-outs. They barely possessed the ball in Week 18 against Seattle. And Seattle, for stretches, had the ball a ton in that game. And, I think it made that last drive where we were going in for a score and then the interception happened. I think that's why a lot of us were like, okay, game's finished right here, because they did never capitalize through the whole game. And then that was the one time that they actually looked like the game might tilt back in their favor, and it just didn't happen. So to me, possessing the ball in this game is key. And the run defense, like Dre mentioned, they have to stop the run, put this on Sam Darnold on defense to win the game, even though we're limited. Even though we're down a bunch of people and we're playing, with a lot of backups and street guys or whatever, put it on him. See if he turns back into a pumpkin. He hasn't thrown a touchdown all year against us. So put it on him in that game. You got to find a way to just shoot. Like you brought up the statistics against the run. Have CJ West and freaking Alfred Collins start the game, for crying out loud. I don't know. Do something different. So that's my thoughts. Score-wise, I'm going to... Geez, you guys are putting pressure on me. See, now if I call for them to win... you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go...
No. Go. No. You have to pick Seattle.
No.
That's the way we're playing this, man.
You want me to play it like that? Okay, I'll do it. I'm going to go... You guys suck. I'm going to go Seattle 27, 49ers 17. How about that? So I'm undershooting the Niners. 27-17, Seattle wins.
Okay. Dre, what do you think?
Can't believe you chose the fucking Seahawks. You're such a loser. I'm just kidding. All right.
Thank you, Charlie. You're welcome.
We're having fun. All
right. I'm going to give you... Okay, my wife was trying to get a hold of me. Anyway, I would say this. The Niners are going to win this game. It's going to be a close, tough-fought game. And I think in this matchup, the Niners are going to control the line of scrimmage by not letting Kenneth Walker, K9, that's his nickname, and
who calls him that?
I guess Seattle. I heard somebody say it.
Dude,
like
they got the worst. We're the 12th man. They paid for that from Texas A&M. Get some real nicknames, losers.
So I think they're going to limit their damage because I mean, when you look at last time we played them, they had more yards. They were more effective against the Niners in the run game, and I think that this time around they're not going to be as effective. They're going to limit the damage on the run. They're going to control the run and force Sam Darnold to have to beat them with his arm. And I think the game plan is you load the box, don't let them run this football. Me to him, okay. At least you paid Sterling $2 to say that.
I didn't even pay Aaron.
I know. I think the Niners are going to stop the run game, and they're going to put a lot of pressure on Smith and Jigba, try and take him out of this game. And I see the Niners winning this game by a final score of 21-17.
Okay. I think both of you are right. Aaron, I agree with you. Stop the run. Make this a Sam Darnold game. Put some pressure on him and just see what happens. If Sam Darnold comes out and plays great football, then so be it, right? You got to find out. And I think that's what San Francisco wants to do. I think Darnold, not to say is like waiting for the inevitable, but it just kind of feels like he knows he's not good enough. Not because he's not physically good enough now he's injured, but it just seems like mentally, like some guys are great in the regular season and not great in the clutch. And Sam's had a phenomenal year and whatnot, and maybe I'm believing too much in what the Niners are cooking, but he fumbled week 18, almost lost it. Gross Matos couldn't recover. It could have been a big swing. He almost threw an interception to Renardo Green, and it was out of bounds, though. Like, he's begging to give games away, and, you know, it feels like with San Francisco's new defensive personnel and the way they played last weekend, they just seem like they're a team waiting to get hot again. And they haven't lost consecutive games all year, I believe. You saw them go on a 6-game winning streak, lose a game, and it felt like the loss against Seattle snapped them back to reality. And I think if you do that for a team like this, they're really dangerous. Now, how far can they go? We'll see. It's week by week, game by game. Same mindset as last weekend against Philadelphia. Records are 0-0. San Francisco is at 1-0. They're 0-0. Philadelphia the same way. But I'm going to go heat the grill up, and we're going to toss some birds on that puppy because we're going to win tomorrow. 26-23. San Francisco gets the victory, and they beat not just Philadelphia on the road in their number 2 defense. They go on the road, beat Seattle in their number 1 defense, and they knock off back-to-back top NFC defenses, and hopefully, fingers crossed, play Chicago because the cold don't scare me. And I think this team is waiting for something great. Now, again, how far can it be? I don't know, but tomorrow night in Seattle, I think San Francisco wins. They're back healthy offensively. Pearsall's back. Trent's back. There's reasons to believe more than to not believe. So I'm going San Francisco.
I think that if we win this game and we have to go travel to Chicago, in that cold weather, to me, this benefits San Francisco if they play in Chicago, because our team is built to stop the run. They don't get pressure on you, but they do a good job at containing the run. And I think that if the Niners go up against the Bears in Chicago, we're going to be a run-heavy team. McCaffrey, Brian Robinson, and Brock has shown you that he can play in the cold weather, and it doesn't matter. It's only when it rains. That's when we got problems. But no, this is going to be an exciting game on Saturday. They're going to lay it all out, both teams. But the pressure is on Seattle, because if they lose this game, the embarrassing loss that they will have to face, knowing that they lost to San Francisco, a team that's more injured than they are. They were at home. They had home field advantage. They had a chance to not only win the NFC, but win a Super Bowl in the Niners stadium. And that's all gone. It is going to rock their franchise. They're going to end up making a move to do something in the offseason, but this is going to be a huge gut punch.
Well, think about it this way. San Francisco beat Philadelphia last weekend. What'd they do the very next day? They fired their offensive coordinator. What happened? What happens if Seattle loses and they lose Clint Kubiak? Like, there's a real chance the two teams San Francisco plays in the playoffs, they don't have their offensive coordinator next season. And you take Sam Darnold out of that offense, what happens? Like, this could theoretically be their best chance. Now, again, a lot can change, a lot can happen. They can push the right buttons and everything can go their way. But I don't know, man. Like, I know Seattle built that defense. McDonald's defense is awesome out there. They have great personnel and whatnot. But man, there's a real chance Seattle's looking for a quarterback in 2 years and a new offensive coordinator in the offseason, which, that puts more pressure on them. They're probably going to lose Kubiak, as they should, to Atlanta or Philadelphia or Miami. Who knows? But they could have a staff decimated. And if Kubiak leaves, he could take more guys away. So who knows? And maybe it's, again, just me feeling good about things and me feeling oddly more confident in this game than I was last weekend, which doesn't seem right because Philadelphia wasn't a good team, or at least offensively couldn't move the football. But I don't know, Aaron, it just, part of me is scared, which kind of what you're getting at. You're scared to buy in.
I'm
because
not scared, nervous.
And that's probably a better way to put it. You're nervous because you know what could happen.
You guys don't understand how emotional of a fan I used to be. Were you punching TVs? Oh, everything. My father used to get after me.
When my
so did I.
Lose.
My dad used to tell me, get over it. They're still getting paid.
I fucking cried when the Houston Rockets beat the Orlando Magic, because I was a huge Shaq fan when I was a kid. I cried at that. I was like, no. So,
dude,
yes,
I remember when San Francisco lost to the Ravens. I was 14 years old in high school, whatever. I had to walk into the other room and I broke down crying because I was so just brokenhearted. And my mom walks in and she's like, "It's okay." And I was like, "Don't talk to me, Mom. You don't understand."
My dad,
too emotional, but still.
My dad after the '97 NFC Championship, Green Bay came to San Francisco. It was a rainy game. We lost. Why are we talking about that? I was so well, because you're bringing. I'm trying to make a point.
I had to sit here and watch those games too as a kid. I watched Brett Favre.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
Shit all over us.
I'm trying to make a point of why I am the way that I am. I'm trying to make this come full circle. I got very emotional after the 90 playoff game, the 91 NFC Championship, where Montana was knocked out. Devastated, crying, everything. I cried when the Bills lost that Super Bowl because I hated the Giants. There's been many times where I've been very emotional after games, and I let myself be just completely unhinged. So to me, it's like psychological warfare if I get myself hyped up and they lose. So I always enter everything with the most negative or completely I'm just going to watch the game and whatever happens. I have to do that for my own mental health. Otherwise, I lose my mind watching games. I scream at the TV. I punch things. I get emotional after the game and snap at people over sports. It's not really that important. So that's why I am the way that I am. There's a reason why the negativity is there.
There's a person in the chat. I think you can see it. Chris Hubner, 8036. is a good friend of mine. Huge Niner fan, Warriors fan, and Giants fan. We watch a lot of championships together. Now, we also watched the Ravens and Niners game at his house. And we were like, and it was over. Like, and that was like, it was devastating. We also watched the Seahawks steal the interception and lose the game against the Patriots when you would have thought we're all Patriot fans. We're like,
Yeah.
Yep. So look, and then obviously the Warriors as well. But yeah, no, I agree with what Bashar said. Curry made up for it because he won a bunch of championships, and that was great to watch the Warriors win when the Niners really sucked. Look, this is gonna be a huge game regardless. There's high stakes, there's a rivalry, a lot of emotion will be thrown out there. Chris, you remember when we left and you walked into your side table and lamp like. Because he was hella drunk. Anyway, so there's going to be a lot on the line here. And I hate saying this because I hate being this kind of fan. But if we win this game, or let's put it this way, if we end up losing an NFC title game or the Super Bowl, which is going to be devastating, it would suck, at least I can say we knocked off the fucking Eagles and the Seahawks. Fuck them. This is like if the Giants made the playoffs and they knocked out the Dodgers in the divisional round. I don't even care if we win the World Series. It's like at least we fucking knocked them out. You know what I mean? So at this point, I'm gonna take each game as its own championship. This is it. And really, I feel like the Week 18 game that was Seattle's Super Bowl. That was the equivalent of. This is the game that we have to show the world that we're the best team in the NFC. And to me, I think they shot their load too early. They put all their money in that, all their eggs in that one basket. And I think coming into this game, it's going to be a different game, and the Niners are going to win this game.
It better be. If they don't, they're going to get their butt kicked.
CJ Gray, I was completely the same. I was so disconnected even in the 2024 season.
I was so hammered when I watched that game. When that was over, I was just like...
I was so broken. I quit YouTube for like 3 months after that Super Bowl. I was like, I don't even want to talk about 49ers anymore.
I woke up at 2 a.m. on my mother-in-law's couch, and the first thing I said to myself was, did we lose that game? And then I looked at my phone.
I had a dream.
What happened last night?
I looked at my phone, and then all my memories came flooding back at the same time. I was like, oh, no, that's right.
The worst is after the Niners lost the Super Bowl 2 years ago, I had to go on the radio and talk for 3 hours. And I said, I don't want to do this. I mean, obviously it was cathartic for me and whatnot, and my co-host Mark Grandy, but that was the worst because all you want to do is go sit in a hole, kind of cry, and go turn the channel off.
Or you just want to start cussing, and you can't do that.
Right. And it's like you just want to be alone for a little bit to kind of compose yourself because you're just like I have so many emotions going through my head because you get so invested in everything, and and that's what makes football and fandom so beautiful, right? It's like you can invest so much while not helping them do anything at all.
It doesn't affect them, right? And
right.
Either way.
And it's just because like you either grew up in it or, you've been kind of adopted into it. Like my wife is not a football fan, but she now loves the 49ers. And that's because she loved Jimmy Garoppolo and how tight his butt was in those pants. But she's since upgraded to Brock Purdy and how cute he is too. So, but she's grown to love the players and everything. So it's been, for myself at least, her not being a football fan, now to being a football fan in some capacity. Like she didn't even understand what was happening last weekend. And she was taking a nap and everything. And she woke up towards the end of the game and, last drive. And I'm telling her like, one more stop. Let's beat the, one out of these guys, one more stop. And of course they got the stop and everything. And I'm going crazy. And she's like, I don't know what happened, but it seems like they won and you're happy. And it's all that matters. And, I'm honestly telling you, if this team ever wins a Super Bowl, I'm going to that parade.
You better win that. You better hope they win that Super Bowl before you have kids, because I guarantee when you have kids, that goes right out the fucking window. She's going to be
they're coming to the parade
down. Turn that down. Put on Bluey. Your kid wants to watch that. And let's hope the people over at ESPN go 0 for 5. Because last week they were like Eagles. And again, here we go with the Seahawks. So you know what? The Niners play better when they're not favored to win.
Yeah. They're also a better road team.
They are. The road doesn't faze them.
I'm almost happy they don't have to play at home. Like, it gives them, on top of the Super Bowl and winning games, it gives them almost something to strive for of like, we have to fight to get home.
They have
to
a
play
killer
that Super
instinct
Bowl.
on the road. They got a killer instinct.
And it's like, I don't know if it's the cards stacked against them or the injuries or whatnot, but like, this team just plays better on the road. Think of their big wins this year. On the road in Los Angeles, on the road in Seattle, on the road in Indianapolis. Like, all this team's quote unquote big wins have been on the road this year. And that, to me, whether it gives me more confidence or not, it just makes me believe that this team can walk into the eye of the storm and walk out saying, we are broken. We are bruised. We are torn and chipped and shattered, but we're still finding a way to power through this thing and persevere. So maybe that's all for not tomorrow night, but I don't think so. And obviously, when the game kicks off and then when the game ends, we'll see what transpires. But I believe they have the best quarterback in this matchup, the better head coach in this matchup, and a coach that has been really calling his best plays for the last 7 weeks or so. And that, to me, means so much more than having the best defensive personnel. You don't have to have the best defensive personnel to win football games. It's 2025. The best offense usually wins. So why couldn't it be San Francisco?
I'll just say that you can clown me, you can talk over me, people can say shit in the chat. I'll always be real, and I'll never shoot you guys fake excitement or fake feelings towards the 49ers. I'm always going to be 100%, because if something happens, I'm not going to flip the script and be like, oh yeah, I knew they were going to win the whole time. Like, I want you to come at me and be like, oh, we won the game, we won the Super Bowl, and you doubted us the whole time. Absolutely. Like, come at me. I will take it, and I will eat all the crow. I ate the crow last week from saying we weren't going to win that game. So, like, I'd rather be real, and if that rubs people the wrong way, sorry, but at least I'm being authentic. At least I'm not fake, because there's a lot of fake people who do shit for super chats and money that don't really even freaking like the team, and people watch the shit out of them. So, like, that's all I'm saying. Like, at least I'm being truthful.
Lori Matthews. She's like, Aaron,
you are right, Aaron. You are right. Aaron has been consistent as possible.
Sure.
The whole year.
The other thing is, we didn't touch on it, but real quick, your concern about Saleh leaving the 49ers.
Oh my God.
Woo.
Well,
I don't think it's high.
It's going on right now while the playoffs are going.
I don't think it's high. I think he's staying. I don't think he fits any of these teams.
He's gone.
The Ravens aren't going to sign him. The Dolphins aren't going to sign him. The Cardinals aren't going to hire him.
Ravens.
If anybody, it'll be Atlanta. The Ravens are going to go hire Jesse Minter, who was in Los Angeles with the Chargers.
Or the Ravens.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
I mean, Ravens or Falcons. I think that's where he's going to go.
The Falcons are the one thing that scares me, but they'd be more inclined, to me at least, to hire Kubiak and keep Ulbrich in place. That makes more sense than hiring Saleh.
Kubiak? You're talking about Clay Kubiak or Clint?
Clint from Seattle. Yeah.
That'd be
because like the Browns ain't getting him. Like, that ain't gonna happen.
Why would he go to Cleveland? It's like,
the Raiders
I'm gonna go play with this train wreck of a franchise.
Like, and the Raiders don't make sense. Like they kind of, the Raiders kind of have to have that stopgap or like retool everything and break it down. And you don't want a defensive minded guy doing that. You want an offensive minded guy. And he's got to get a
job where he's got to get a job where he has an offensive guy follow him.
Look at it this way.
Who's that guy? McDaniel? I don't think McDaniel wants to go to Baltimore or Atlanta. You're coaching Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix?
Mike McDaniel is not going to be a head coach next season. If anything, he will be an offensive coordinator at one of those places. And that's
Lions. Watch out for McDaniel in Detroit. Maybe. With Jared Goff? Scary.
He's like, Jared, I need you to run. I don't know how to run. Fuck.
Read option. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's I can't wait for the game tomorrow night.
Do you think he's gone, Aaron? Do you think he's gone? Your brother wants him in Miami. I don't think it's gonna happen.
No, he doesn't. Nah, my brother doesn't want him. He says he wants an offensive coach.
Why wouldn't your brother want Chris Shula, Don Shula's grandson, to take over as legacy hire, who's done a great job in Los Angeles as their defense coordinator?
No, he doesn't want Saleh.
But Chris Shula is a defensive-minded guy. Would he want him or no?
I don't know what my brother's looking for. I think my brother wanted one of the two coaches that just got hired.
You know what?
Maybe
next week, if not in the offseason, you bring your brother on the show.
Yeah, let's talk Miami Dolphins.
You think I sound like Charlie Brown? Oh, you got another thing coming.
Let's talk some Miami Dolphins football.
He is, Jared will never get on camera. That's never going to happen. He just wants, it's been tough, man. They don't do anything. Every year they start slow and they try to end fast, and they miss the playoffs all the time. So he's just over it. He said he'll worry about it in September. He's like done for 9 months.
So do you think he's leaving or do you think he's going to stay? Robert Saleh.
Man, I'm so conflicted because there's just so many opportunities out there right now.
I think he's gone.
I feel like he's going to go.
9 openings. I think
Sterling, I don't want him to go. I just think he's going to.
If he's smart, he'll just stay with us and never leave ever again. But
oh yes, my brother is a Dolphins fan, but he also as Aaron's 49er Yoda. He sounds like Yoda too with the voice because he sounds just like me. But seriously though, like I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow. I'm nervous as hell. I'll try to keep composure. I don't always watching the game. I still kind of get pissed, but I'm looking forward to it. And
one thing that Strawberry brought up, I thought was a really good point. If the Niners run the table and let's say they get to the Super Bowl, they will be playing against a quarterback that's never played in a Super Bowl ever. There's nobody in the AFC that's played in a Super Bowl because Mahomes had them all blocked.
Yeah, they put the full court stop on all those guys.
There is an update. Mahomes should be ready by week 1 of the NFL season. That's what he's shooting for.
Good luck.
I love that's the update when it's like that's the actual timeline for an ACL recovery, like 6 to 8 months. Like, yeah, duh. It's so funny to me. So funny. Like Bosa's back by mid-training camp. Shocked there. Michael's back by week 1 too. Like, I know Aaron talked about next year. Like Niners, theoretically, should be better next year. That's awesome.
Where is he? Leon Sandcastle made a point about how he loves the draft and the offseason to me is fun because there's no pressure to win games and you play the what if game in your head. You play like
money.
And you could buy this guy and you could bring this guy in and you could draft this. It's very exciting because the reality of the regular season and the playoffs and the season is all the injuries, all the stress for the games, winning, losing, all that stuff. When the offseason, you're 0-0, nothing's happened, and you can fantasize or go play Madden and just build your team the way you want it.
They're 0-0 right now. Biggest game of the year tomorrow. 0-0 right now.
I'll just say this. If I'm wrong next week and we do this show, I will eat all the crow. You guys can come at me super hard and I will take all of it. That's all.
Aaron, send me your address. I'll cook the crow tonight.
Okay, you're not going to dox me. That's weird.
Give me your social security number and your bank account information right now.
I'm here to fix your Home Depot card or whatever they call you for.
Give me your Google Play card, brother. Go down to the Target and give me a Google Play card.
No, Aaron needs to show up at Sterling's house and be like, here, I'm here to fix your
fix my leaks in my roof.
Oh yeah, come on in. Please.
Yes, fix my office for me and fix my
His
living room.
Yeti is still in there, all like soaked and freaking destroyed.
Poor Yeti.
It was so bad. So bad.
What did he say? Don't worry, Charlie. Lucy won't pull the ball away. You guys are funny. All right, everybody. Enjoy doing the show with you guys. Everybody in the chat. Yes. Thanks for being real. I appreciate all of it, good or bad. And till next time, everyone, stay safe and healthy. Go Niners! And hopefully we'll be talking to you again next week about the NFC Championship game.